Hello, welcome back to our bow exploration series. Over the past few weeks we have developed flexibility in the wrist and sensitivity to the movement of the string, to the interaction between the bow and the string with the collé bowing and variations that use the collé articulation. So this week we are going to the most used bow stroke in violin playing, the détaché, and we will explore that back and forth movement in the middle of the bow, and over the next few weeks we will also cover the lower part of the bow and the upper part of the bow, and finally do whole bow movements. But we start small and simple and curious about how this all works. So initially put the bow down on the string like we did before, but maybe a little bit below the middle, not close here at the frog, and again do what we always did: release tension in your arm and in your elbow joint and in your wrist and in your fingers. Just hang there, pull and push the string back and forth without moving, without making these scratchy noises that I did, and then eventually release the weight a little bit and pull. Do the same again, relax everything, explore the contact between the string and the bow, and push up. So there's one thing that we need to talk about, and that is how to keep the bow straight, because that is not at all easy, and I didn't do that very well. I noticed that I was kind of wavering back and forth a little bit. So how do we observe what's happening and how do we adjust? First of all, it's good to look into the mirror. So I do have a mirror here, and I can put doing that. Maybe I don't see the video image very well with this camera, it's very small, but you will be able to observe what I'm doing here. I mean, the bridge and the bow need to be in parallel, and then so it's helpful to look at the mirror and just kind of will oneself into pulling the bow straight, maybe also imagining that the bow just moves down and up in one straight line in some direction, without wondering what's really happening with all our joints and muscles. But it's also, there's another method of how to explore this a little bit more directly, and that is hold the bow with your left hand, make sure it's parallel to the bridge, and then rather than moving the bow, just move your hand up and down. So then you notice what it's like to coordinate all the joints in your arm for a straight bow. Because the thing is, each of our joints, like the elbow joint or the shoulder joint or the wrist joint, maybe the wrist joint not that much, but all the other joints, they only allow us to do half circles or circles and circular movements. And if we want to have a resulting straight movement, then that means that these circular movements need to coordinate and add up to a straight movement. And with this method, like, one can observe, okay, a little bit of my upper arm is moving, a little bit of my lower arm is moving from the elbow. And of course, like we observed before, the resistance of the string will just let my elbow and my fingers have different shapes depending on where we are. And the point is that all this is very individual. So depending on your personal physique, you will have a little bit more or a little bit less movement in the upper arm, and a little bit more or a little bit less movement in the lower arm. And maybe also how your fingers and your wrist shape up is looking a little bit differently. But the point is, if everything is loose, right? If everything is flexible, then your body will figure out what to do and how to do it. Okay, so that's the basic détaché movement, and as always, try it out on open strings at first, doing pauses like I did in the beginning. Then eliminate the pauses and do sequences also on different strings. And you can take it to a scale or to another etude of your choice. So I will finish up by demonstrating what I worked on last week with the collé articulation. I gave you 4 variations to work with. I'm demonstrating 2 variations, 3 and 4. One is the dotted rhythm, and I will also do reversed dotted rhythms, and then the 3 slurred, 3 up-bow pizzicato version. And I'm going to do that with the Yanchinov etude again. So it's work in progress, but I think continuous application makes it better. And so let me know how it is going for you. What are your plans to integrate this week's experiment into your own practice? I think it's a good place also to start fresh if you haven't followed the previous explorations, and perhaps integrate this into your daily scale practice. Like if you do like a G major scale, 2 octaves, all first position, observe. You will probably practice them with Détaché anyway. Observe how your Détaché is sounding. Do you have an even sound for each of these strokes? Do you fill the complete value of the note with sound, or do you do some kind of tapering? So that's also nice and can be useful, but I mean, for like the purpose of the exercise, I would encourage you to work on even sound. And we talked about like straight bow, but how do we actually keep the sound in the string, keep the bow in the string for even sound? It's this movement, like you push down with the index finger and push up with the thumb. So you have like some equilibrium here, and you can adjust. Okay, good. So this is my final tip for this week. And yeah, I hope to hear from you and talk to you soon. Bye for now.